We started dating in 2014 and we were supposed to get married September 30th, 2017. In the days leading up to the wedding, it was 5 days before, like something just not right with this one girl that he worked with. And I asked him about it and he's like, you're crazy, there's nothing going on, yada yada. 5 days before the wedding, he's like, you don't trust me enough to get married. We need to postpone. Like, my whole life is falling apart, or that's how I felt at that time. We had met with our marriage counselors, and they were like, Kirsten, there's nothing going on. Like, he says there's nothing going on. There's nothing going on. We call off the wedding. I'm, like, very anxiety-ridden because I'm like, okay, either he's cheating on me or... like, I've completely lost touch with reality. We made the decision that we would remain together and work on building trust. He told me that, like, it was my fault that we weren't going to get married, and it was just because I didn't trust him enough. So anyway, fast forward, it's September 30th, our wedding day, and I unlocked the door to the house that I had bought for us. So he had none of his own money in the house. I did the entire down payment, put it in both of our names. So I unlocked the door to this house and walk inside, and he is butt naked. He's like, why are you here? And I look down and I see some like girls' boots or women's boots. So I hear the master bedroom door close and I go in there and I find her and she's like put his clothes on that were in the closet. I called the police and reported an intruder. Anyway, she told me like, we're in love, I'm leaving my husband, we're gonna be together. It later came out that they'd been having an affair for quite some time. She told me several months before I ever even became suspicious of her. During the time that he had been cheating on me, he's like telling me that I don't trust him enough. He took out a $500,000 life insurance policy on me. I had been heavily manipulated and told that I was losing my mind. The Monday after this happened on a Saturday, I sold my ring and used it to retain my attorney. I had bought us a house in June, like I said. He, up until the bitter end, tried to steal it out from under me. The husband of the girl that he was cheating on me with took her back, and bless his heart, they're still together to this day. My ex-fiance, he moved a different female co-worker into the house a few weeks later. She had moved herself, her dog, and her mom in, and then they were trying to demand that I pay the bills. 333 days later, I was free.
We went out to dinner one night. It was me and two of his friends, a boy and a girl. We go out, we have a few drinks, and we're pretty tipsy, and they're like, let's go to a strip club. And I'm like, hell yeah, let's go to a strip club. And I'm damn well, I'm way too jealous for that. But anyways, we get there, I'm not feeling it. I get mad at him, I walk home. I get home, I pass out, I wake up at 3 in the morning and I'm like, oh shit, I left my bag at his house. So I wake up my mom and I'm like, you need to take me to his house. I left my purse in my car there. And she's like, right now? And I'm like, yes, right now, this can't wait. So I get there, I knock on the door, his friend opens it and I'm like, oh shit, okay. So I walk into his room and he's under the covers. So I'm like, he's fucking passed out drunk. So I pull the covers to lay with him, and so I pull the covers and the girl, the friend, is literally naked, still on top of him, and they fell asleep like that. Can you believe it? So of course I like wake him up and I'm like, acknowledge the girl. She's like all freaked out and I'm like, and taking shots at him, punching him and everything. And then he gets up, he's like running around his apartment away from me naked. And I go in his bathroom and everything in there, and I go in his kitchen, I throw everything in there. And then his friend's like, calm down. So he gets in the way, so I punch him in the face too. I grab my shit, throw a rock at his car, and I'm out.
He was literally in a closet, full on making out with one of the caterers at our wedding shower. Like, where is the shame? At least try to hide it, you know what I mean? Like, do a better job. And I'll be honest, it's not like we're in love or anything, but if you're gonna cheat on me, at least don't do it while we are celebrating our supposed love. As I'm like yelling at him, like, what the fuck are you doing? I'm trying to get him to at least come out and like hide his little friend here, and all of my so-called friends who are extremely nosy come up and see the entire thing. Doing a spectacular job of not hiding his girlfriend very well, and everybody is seeing what's going down. Everybody's looking at me like, what the hell is going on? And I'm honestly frozen in a shock of like shame and panic and like anxiety, like what the fuck do I do? Make things just that much worse. I look out into the crowd of people who are coming up to me, asking me questions, whispering behind my back, and I see my crush from work who I invited to this wedding shower, and we lock eyes, and I am just mortified. So I see my crush start walking up towards me, and as I'm saying like, okay, I can explain, he's like, yes, we can explain, we're in love. Obviously, everybody is shocked by this, and before I can say anything else, he pulls me into the next room. What are you doing? He's like, I couldn't just stand there and watch you be embarrassed like that. I could see that your mind was racing, and I just felt bad, and I felt like I had to step in and do something. And obviously, he has questions like, why are you marrying this guy? And so I have to explain the whole like arranged marriage thing to him. I'm like, listen, I have to be married by the time I'm 27, and that's a couple months away, and this is the guy that my parents chose for me. So apparently he's still in savior mode, and he's like, okay, well, what if I take his place instead and we get married? And at this point, I'm at a loss for words because the guy I've had a crush on forever, who just saw one of the most embarrassing moments of my life, has offered to basically marry me.
Yes, about him doing something bad to me. So I had this gut feeling that something was going on. And then he started disappearing in the middle of the night. Like, I'll call and text and he wouldn't reply. And I was so worried, like I kept calling and he wouldn't reply until the next day. So I wouldn't hear from him throughout the whole night, or sometimes, and it's always on a weekend. It was always on a weekend. So that's where it kind of started me thinking that something is going on. So he would disappear for hours on end. Like he would go the whole night without calling, without texting until the next morning. And I had a feeling something was going on, obviously, but I thought it was like, something bad, like smoking something or drinking or something like that. I never thought it was cheating because I thought, obviously, that he loved me. Stupid. Anyway, so I confronted him. I said, like, what's going on? Like, are you okay? And he said, no, I was just with the boys. It's always the boys. He was always, or he was playing FIFA, or he was out with his friends, or they were playing soccer. And I always believed him. So it came the time to go and visit him. So I get off this 4.5-hour flight, 4-hour flight, whatever it is. And I see on the side that he doesn't sleep, I see a long blonde hair, and straight. And I'm not that. So my brain started doing all these calculations, like, should I say anything? Should I not? Because obviously he's gaslit me in the past. So I just wanted to avoid the conversation altogether. So I did some digging. I went through his friends on Facebook. I found all of the females first, and then I found all of the blonde females, and then I found all of the blonde females in the area. And then I did a age bracket between whatever it was like 18 up to 40. And I went through all of the ones. I tried to figure out which ones were single and which ones were married, boyfriend, whatever. So I came up with it was a very short list of people. And I came up with one. And she just so happened to work with him. So I got her name. I typed it into his iPhone because he had two phones at the time, a Samsung and an iPhone. And there was no message thread with her. But when I typed her name, when I went to the Finder bar, her name was at the top. And with iPhone, the people that you have recently spoken to are the ones that come first. So it's in order by when you spoke to them. So I was at the top, she was below me, and then his friends. So that was the confirmation that I needed, that he was speaking to another woman. So I texted her from his Samsung and I said, good night. No kisses, no emojis, no baby, nothing. And some time had passed. He had already gotten into his bed naked and I see his Samsung light up. So I check it in the living room and it says, good night, baby. I can't wait to see you. So then I picked up the phone. I went to his bedroom. I gave it to him very calmly and I said, your baby wants to say goodnight. Showed him the message and I left the room. And he was yelling, it's not what it looks like. And I just walked. I just completely ignored him. I got in his car and I was about to drive off. And he was telling me, no, it's not what it looks like. We call each other pet names at work. She calls me baby. I call her babe. It's just a thing that we've got going on. So he tried to gaslight me, and he tried to manipulate me because he was a little bit older than me. He tried to manipulate me into thinking that that was normal for her to be calling him baby, and the fact that all the messages were mysteriously deleted from his phone. And when I said, okay, if you have nothing to hide, let me check your phone, he said to me, why do you need to go through my phone? Do you not trust me? Anyway, I left. The next day, I see him, okay? And I said, okay, give me your phone, let me go through your phone. He gave me his phone. From the Samsung and from the iPhone, everything was deleted. Her number was even deleted. Red flag.
I caught him cheating. So, I was never allowed to have a fucking password on my phone because he would accuse me of cheating. Hilarious, right? I know. But he had passwords. That was okay, right? Because if I felt weird about him having a password, I was the crazy one. Not the point. Anyways, his mom gives me the PIN code to her EDD card before she moves to Mexico, right? And the code was 1410. I find my ex-boyfriend's Apple Watch after he lost it for like many weeks. He was flipping the hell out because he couldn't find this damn thing. And I didn't understand what the big deal was because I was like, it's home, don't worry, we'll find it. He's at work, I come home from school, we were living together, and I find his Apple Watch, and tell me why my spirit guides were like 1410, 1410. I just, wait, before we got to that point, I had plugged it in because I was like, oh, I'm gonna be a good girlfriend, it'll be charged by the time he gets home, he finds it. So when it turns on, it's blowing up. Hey, that's sus, it's blowing up, that's really weird. So I miraculously decided to put 1410, and girl, I found messages on messages. Your Tinder account is activated. Your Bumble account is activated. Meetup times, have threesomes. Like, this man was cheating on me for sport. So yeah, the Apple. But if you have to check in the first place, leave him. Leave him. I will never be that. I will never be that girlfriend again. Never. I forgot to add, he was my first. He was my first. Just sprinkle that piece of information on top of it all.
So I had 2 phones and he asked me to give him one of the phones. So one was Infinix and I gave it to him. And that Infinix, the recording was turned on. I didn't do it on purpose. I only did it because of business. So after 1 month, we had an argument and I told him to give me back my phone. And he gave me back my phone. And I had to go listen to those records. The argument we had was about cheating. So he denied it. And I went on to check the record and everything just played out. Different women. The most funniest part is these women are the ones that pay for hotels or motels for him. They give him money. Like, it was so funny, and I just ended everything with him. So I caught him red-handed.